Neil Armstrong. He was an American astronaut who was the first man to walk on the moon. He was born in near Wapakoneta, Ohio, the United States, on August 5, 1930. His father's name was Stephen Armstrong and mother's name was Viola Armstrong. His father worked as an auditor for the Ohio state government. At the age of 5, he experienced his first ever airplane flight. Academically, he attained his formal education from Bloom High School. In 1947, at age 17, he enrolled himself at Purdue University and earned his bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering. During college, Neil was called up by the Navy and became a fighter pilot. In his 3 years of Navy career, he flew 78 missions over Korea for a total of 121 hours in the air. He left the Navy on August 23, 1952, and became a lieutenant junior grade in the United States Naval Reserve. Armstrong married his first wife, Janet Sheeran, on January 28, 1956, at the age of 25. In 1970, he got his master's degree at the University of Southern California. He fought in the Korean War, where he flew fighters from aircraft carriers. At one point, his plane was hit by enemy fire, but he was able to eject and was safely rescued. After graduating from college, Armstrong became a test pilot. He flew all sorts of experimental planes, testing them out to see how well they flew. It was a dangerous job, but very exciting. He flew over 200 different types of aircraft during his career. Armstrong applied to become an astronaut, and in September of 1962, he was selected for the NASA Astronaut Corps. He had to go through a series of harsh physical tests, but he passed and was soon part of the new 9, or second group of 9 NASA astronauts. Armstrong's first trip into space was aboard the Gemini 8. He was the command pilot of the space capsule and piloted the first successful docking of 2 vehicles in space. The mission was cut short, however, when the capsules began to roll. Neil was offered the command of the Apollo 11. This would be the first manned landing on the moon. The United States was in a race with the Soviet Union to put the first man on the moon. If the flight was successful, Armstrong would be that man. After months of practice and preparation, the Apollo 11 spacecraft launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida on July 16, 1969. There was one scary moment in the flight where Armstrong had to take over manual control of the landing. This was not the plan, and, if the landing took too long, would leave the crew short on fuel. The landing was successful, and they had around 40 seconds of fuel remaining. Upon landing, Armstrong said, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." After landing, Armstrong was the first to leave the craft and walk on the moon. The historic date was July 21, 1969. His famous words upon being the first man on the moon were, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Buzz Aldrin also walked on the moon during this trip. They collected moon rocks and were on the moon for over 21 hours. While the lunar module, named the Eagle, was on the moon, the third astronaut, Michael Collins, orbited the moon in the command module. The 3 pilots arrived back on Earth on July 24th. They landed in the Pacific Ocean. After Apollo 11 flight, Neil held many positions with NASA. He also worked as a professor of aerospace engineering at the University of Cincinnati. He divorced his first wife on April 12, 1994, after 38 years of marriage. He had 3 children. He married his second wife, Carol Held Knight, on June 12, 1994, at the age of 64. He died in Cincinnati, Ohio, United States, on August 25, 2012, at the age of 82. I believe every human has a finite number of heartbeats. I don't intend to waste any of mine, said Neil Armstrong.